Wait, just 20,000? You expect us to go on a honeymoon with that? Isn't that a bit low?
Exactly, Mom. Think this through. This is a celebration for your beloved son. If you can't cough up more money, we're fine with cutting ties. Fine, let's cut ties then. My name is Shelley. Recently, both my children got married and left the nest. I thought I could finally take a breather. My husband passed away when our daughter Selena was in college, and our son Matthew was in middle school. We all grieved, but we managed to get by. Selena went to a far-off college but offered to come back. I couldn't let her do that. She graduated and got a job where she was, met someone, got married, and now has a child. The real challenge was Matthew. Losing a father figure during his rebellious teenage years was tough, but I did my best to raise him. I think he turned out fine. He went to private high schools and colleges, which was financially challenging, but he found a job and got married. Mom, my job is close to home. We can live together until I get transferred. I know you worry. That's nice, but don't push yourself. Your happiness is my happiness. Matthew is a considerate, kind son. We've had many conversations since he became an adult. I didn't just spoil him. I taught him chores. He's my pride and joy. I'm sure he'll be a supportive husband. I'm content if I can see Selena and Matthew once in a while. Their happiness is what matters most. When kids get married, there's not much parents can do. Interfering would make me an annoying mother-in-law. Times have changed. We can't be too involved in our children's marriages. True, it's sad but necessary. That's what I discuss with my friends. So I try not to interfere too much with Selena and Matthew. But a parent's heart wants to help. So I gave Selena $20,000 as a wedding gift and another $20,000 for her honeymoon. Mom, are you sure? You saved up too. You don't have to strain yourself. It's fine. If you don't use it, save it. I've got my own savings. Thanks, Mom. I'll definitely repay this kindness. Selena was grateful and brought back souvenirs from her honeymoon. When she gave them to me, she told me about her travels. I was happy and wanted to do the same for Matthew. So I planned to give him $20,000 for the wedding and another $20,000 for the honeymoon. Wait, this is it? It's not enough. Our wedding cost $60,000, you know. Exactly, Mom. What are you thinking? This is nowhere near enough. Don't act like you're some great parent with this measly amount. Unlike Selena and her husband, Matthew and his wife Jeannie were full of complaints. I'm sorry, but this is all I can afford. You had your own savings for the wedding, right? What? Young people these days don't have savings. We're always paying for the elderly. Mom, don't you watch the news? We're struggling here. Maybe you should educate yourself. I know, but if that's the case, you didn't have to spend $60,000 on a wedding. Wow, how cruel. A wedding is a woman's lifelong dream. It's the one day I get to be the star. Exactly, and you say it like that? Are you looking down on us? No, that's not what I meant. Jeannie starts to fake cry dramatically, and Matthew defends her. For some reason, they act as if I've said something terrible. So are you saying my parents should also contribute money? That's ridiculous. Why should the bride's parents have to struggle? Isn't it the groom's parents who should handle everything? Matthew has no savings. It's been tough for him. Are you exploiting him because you're a single mom? I've never done that. I haven't taken any money from him since he started working. I've never interfered with how he spends his money. If he has no savings, maybe he spent it on his hobbies? That's not true. I just ate out and went drinking with friends. That shouldn't deplete my salary. Exactly. Besides, you have all the latest appliances at home. Those were gifts from my daughter for Mother's Day. See, you've been exploiting Matthew too. Poor Matthew, being taken advantage of because he's kind. In reality, I've never asked Matthew for anything. Some of my friends do take living expenses from their adult children who still live at home. I know young people have it tough, so I never took money from Matthew. I've managed on my own salary and savings.
Oh, poor Matthew, raised by such a terrible mother. And now you insult my parents too. You're the worst mother-in-law.
Mom, apologize to Jeannie. Show your sincerity with money. We'll be back in a few days, so increase our honeymoon allowance. I'm your precious son, right? Please, Mom. With that, Matthew leaves with a smug smile, hugging Jeannie's shoulders. I'm left alone, disappointed, wondering why they would say such things. I've never exploited anyone. I've given as much as I could afford and thought I'd done my best. Selena and her husband never complained. They even thanked me. I know some parents give more, but this is my limit. I thought I'd raised him well, but to be told all this. Just then, Selena calls to say she sent a package. I end up venting to her, and she says, Mom, Matthew's lost it. I knew he was sheltered, but he's gotten worse since dating Jeannie. You should free yourself, Mom. Her words clear the fog before my eyes. Matthew is an adult now. He is not a child I need to protect. There is no need to be spoiled anymore. A few days later, Matthew and Jeannie return. They sit across from me at the living room table, smirking. So you've had time to think. How much more are you giving us?
Exactly. Our future relationship depends on this. Depending on the amount, we might even give you some hotel amenities.
They clearly haven't reflected on their behavior. They must think I'll give them more money. So I calmly say, I understand how you feel, but I can't give you any more money. In fact, I've lost the desire to give you even the $20,000. What? Mom, what are you saying?
That's fine. We can cut ties.
All right, let's cut ties then. They clearly didn't expect me to agree. They visibly panic. Just as they're about to say something, Selena comes out from the room behind me. I've been listening, and you two are just awful. Why are you here, sis?
Hi. Long time no see.
Enough with that attitude. Aren't you grateful? Especially you, Matthew. Mom supported you through your rebellious phase, sent you to private schools, and even let you live at home as an adult. What's with your attitude? But she's my mom. That's her job. And I've seen online that other parents give more.
Exactly. The groom's parents should do more. Otherwise, you won't even get to see your grandchildren.
Well, Jeannie, I wouldn't want to see any child raised by people as unreasonable as you.
What? Even if we have a child, you'd still feel that way?
I wouldn't want to see a child raised by people like you. I prefer not to associate with strange people.
That's rude.
Let's go, Jeannie. There's no talking to these people. Our words seemed to fall on deaf ears. Matthew and Jeannie left, just like that. Selena and I look at each other and let out a deep sigh. Life was peaceful after that. Until a few months later when Matthew called, crying. Mom, help me. I don't know what happened, but I'm out of money. I can't pay my bills and I'm getting notices for electricity and gas. I can't even pay rent. I'm going to get kicked out. Turns out they'd been spending their salaries however they pleased. It's not like I had any naive ideas that things would definitely work out. They had no idea how much it actually costs to live. When I lived at home, I never had to worry about this stuff. My house is big and Jeannie's is even bigger. We never had to think about money, so why is it a problem now in this tiny rental? Matthew, did you ever think about rent and other expenses? Did you consider how much of your salary goes to fixed costs? What? I never had to think about that at home. Why is it an issue now? Because I was paying for everything when you lived at home. You seriously never thought about this? Matthew sounded shocked. I couldn't help but feel drained. How could they not even know the basics of what it costs to live? You should know about rent and utilities even if you lived at home. Haven't you talked to friends who live on their own? I've told you many times not to waste electricity. I heard from friends, but I thought they were just poor. I thought the electricity thing was just a matter of discipline. What have you been listening to? I've talked about utility bills many times. I thought I was competent enough to earn without worrying about that stuff. Sure, Matthew went to top schools, and from what I heard, so did Jeannie, but they were only academically smart. That's why you don't understand the value of $20,000. Maybe I raised you wrong. That's it. What about the $20,000? If I had that, I could pay off all my overdue bills. Can you give it to me, Mom? No way. What? I had to be firm with Matthew. Indulging him now would do no good. I had to be strict. Remember, you were the ones who wanted to cut ties. I'm not helping you anymore. That's the last thing I can do for you as a parent. From now on, you're on your own. With that, I hung up the phone. Matthew kept calling back, but I deliberately ignored it. He and Jeannie wouldn't understand unless I took a stand. Luckily, they both work and don't have kids yet. Even if they fall behind on bills, they won't get kicked out immediately. I thought they'd catch up and start saving in a few months, but I was wrong. When Matthew couldn't reach me, he contacted Selena. From what Selena told me, they blamed each other for their financial woes, and it didn't stop there. They said the same thing to Jeannie's parents, who were understandably furious. From now on, you're on your own. Even if you have kids, don't expect any gifts from us. They kicked them out. Still, Matthew and Jeannie blamed each other. The result? A quick divorce. Right before their honeymoon, after a $60,000 wedding. Now their friends are distancing themselves, calling them wedding gift thieves. In the end, they're cut off from their families and have no friends to rely on. Matthew tried calling Selena, but she ignored him too. I have no idea what he's up to now, but I doubt he's changed. That's on him, and there's nothing more I can do. I'm planning to sell my now-too-big-for-one house. I'll use that money to buy a senior-friendly condo. That way, I can live a supportive community life. And no, I have no plans to tell Matthew where I'm moving. Not helping him anymore is my final act as his parent. In the long run, it's for his own good. I plan to live happily on my own from now on.